Welcome to the first episode of the Call Up Podcast. I am pretty much your host, Papa Bear, aka Kenny, and I am coming to you with this quick introduction to the show to let you know exactly what the Call Up Podcast is. The Call Up Podcast is just pretty much me and a group of other people that come in randomly from time to time to talk wrestling. Anything from WWE to AEW, ROH, GCW, ICW, Evolve, Impact Wrestling, you name it. We're pretty much going to talk about it. And then we're also going to talk about figure news as well. So without further ado, I just want to give you a quick update. Normally on the show, we will start doing some weekly purchases as far as like what I bought for the week or what I plan on getting. Maybe I'm doing some eBay finds, and I decided that I wanted to share with you guys. And maybe you guys would probably want to go out and pick it up for yourself. So over the week, I started looking at my collection and I was just thinking to myself, like, what am I missing? We in quarantine season right now here in New York City, so I can't really go out to like Walmart and Target to pick up some things. So I said, you know what, I want to start a collection as far as like what my childhood is. And what better introduction into my childhood in wrestling than getting LJN, Macho Man. And I have to say that when I got this here, it took a while for me to really decide what I wanted to get because there's so many different LJNs from, Hulk Hogan to Piper, Flair, the list just goes on and on. But then I thought about it, was like, I wanted to be a little bit different, and what exactly would I play with when I was a child, and what better introduction than to have Macho Man. I end up going into a Facebook group and asking who should I speak to about, purchasing an LJN. And sure enough, they told me to speak to the whisperer of LJNs himself, Zorro Mendez. You can catch him at Zorro Mendez on Instagram. So after I slid into his DMs, I decided and I said, you know what Macho Mans do you have? And he, took a while. He said, I'll get back to you. And a couple of days later, he showed up with this bad boy right here. And I have to say that, looking at the detail for something that's being this old, you can see that a lot of the paint on this, it's still really good. Even like the top of the boot part here and on the sides, the back, you just have to clean off a little bit here, obviously, because it's, it's an older figure. But I couldn't be happier than with this. The next thing I started to do this week as far as like purchases is concerned was I visited a store. Well, not really visited, but like virtual visit a store called Royal Sports NYC in Queens. They're a vintage collectible store that they have many, many different things from wrestling figures to baseball, boxing, basketball, you name it, they got it. So they had this really big sale going on wrestling figures, and I stood on Instagram for like a good while looking at all these different things, and I just kept bidding. So why not share with you guys here like we'll do every week, and then go from there. So one of the purchases that I picked up was I actually want to start a John Cena collection. So I got the Ruthless Aggression John Cena from a couple of years ago. This does have a belt with it, but I don't see it here. It says chase the belt, watch for a limited edition. So this is one of John Cena's figures, when he first started off in the company. So I said, you know what, I definitely have to pick that one up. Again, they had more John Cena figures, so I decided to pick up some more. Yes, for all you MOC collectors out there, the cards are bent significantly, but I'm going to open all of these and actually display them. I'm going to have a whole John Cena display once I am done, and I definitely will take a tour on that, and everybody else will see it too. But for the most part, as you can see, we have another John Cena Backlash Series 10, which is pretty good. The face scan on this one is okay if you think about it, for as far as like old John Cena figures is concerned. Moving on to the more John Cena collection, we decided to go back to the Ruthless Aggression era and pick up a red shirt John Cena. For the most part, I know people are going to ask you, like, why am I picking up so many John Cenas? once again, I am building a John Cena collection, and I know that after looking at the checklist of how many John Cena action figures there really are, this is going to be a mission. So hopefully you guys could go on the ride with me and enjoy. Next up, I ended up picking another Ruthless Aggression figure, but at this time I decided to pick up Triple H from D Generation X, which is a pretty good figure. And for the most part, you're probably wondering, like, man, how much did he pay for all these? I'm going to get to that as soon as this is over. Next up in here, we have the SummerSlam 99 Rocky. This right here, I have to say that when I first saw this, I thought about it for a while, and I said, you know what, do I really need this in my collection? And then when I saw this in person, I said to myself, yes, you do. If you look at the back of it, I'm kind of curious now as to maybe I want to collect the rest of the action figures that are in here. So you never know, I might end up doing another break and saying to myself, let's crack these bad boys open. Speaking of old school, you can't talk about WWF without talking about Eugene, one of the biggest fans that they had in the WWE besides Bailey. And he just loved everybody that got in the ring with him. So when I saw this, I definitely had to pick this up when I saw this in the store. Next up, a man that really doesn't need any introductions, Umaga. I mean, he was one of the best in our era here. So I ended up picking up this Umaga WrestleMania figure, and it was definitely worth the money that I paid for this. I would have paid more, and I'll get to how much I paid for all of this in a minute. Of course, we have the man, the myth, Mr. Brooklyn himself, Taz from the SmackDown line. I also remember Taz. I remember him wrestling a couple of times in WWE, but for the most part, I have to say his commentary is what pretty much got me when I used to see Taz in WWE/WWF. And then the last purchase that I made at Royal Sports was this 2-pack of Shawn Michaels and Trish Stratus, both of them being referees. I'm not too sure why they decided to put these two as referees. I know that they were special guest referees on certain matches and pay-per-views, but to put them together in a battle pack, I decided, I was like, oh, why not? Let's just put it into collection, or maybe I might just sell it off down the line. So basically, a lot of the time here at the Call Up Podcast, you're going to get a lot of these things where, you know, we'll go for tips as far as like where to shop for figures, or wrestling community outreaches that you can probably go to, like wrestling pages you probably want to visit, daily interviews with local stars as far as indies. I'm definitely going to start interviewing more and more different collectors and letting them show off their collection as well. So that's what's going to be a part of our first episode. So after this introduction here, we'll go into our interview that we have with another collector that's going to show off a couple of good classic pieces that he has in store. Besides that, we're just going to talk wrestling. We're going to have different people on here. We're going to have many, many guests. A lot of the times probably just going to be me rambling on, but we're going to have fun. So hopefully you enjoy it. I know I will enjoy it because I love wrestling. If you love wrestling, then we just need to talk about wrestling together. Until then, Marks, have fun, and God bless.